Hey everyone, I'm so excited to be here on the CraftStash channel. Today I'm going to be showing you so many cards using the Enchanted Evergreen's new collection from It's Just Paper from myself. And I am going to show you all of these quickly so you can see so many cards in just a few minutes. So you kind of get an idea of what you can create with them. Throughout the next few months, over on my channel, I'm also going to be showing you these tutorials, but a slowed down version so we can go into all the tips, the tricks, best practices, and go through them slowly, just in case you want to recreate them for yourself. All right, let's hop to it. Let's start by showing you one of my favorite tips and tricks for layering supplies. So what I do is cut my cardstock large enough to fit 2 of the stamped images. That way I can rotate my cardstock back and forth, and I only have to line up the stamp once. I'll cut as many sheets of cardstock for as many flowers as I need. So if I need 10 of these, I'll cut 5 of these pieces of cardstock, and I'll keep going just like I'm doing now. And this way I line up once and I can stamp 10 times, saving myself a lot of time when it comes to layering. I store any extras in the back of the stamp pocket, so I have them for later use, and the next time I go to use this stamp, I don't need to stamp it all out first. For my second tip, cut out yourself a die cut frame. So use the frame that you die cut your die cut out of to help you line up your stamps. So you can line up the frame so you can see that it's even on all sides, and then cut a slit in your frames to be able to remove it when you add the die cut on top. This is how I create perfectly lined up dies and stamps every single time, because without doing this method, I'm pretty useless when it comes to lining things up straight. You can see that I used my pencil to outline where my flowers were going to be, so I could see easily where to place my flowers, and I didn't have, or my leaves rather, and I didn't have to cut these out and mask them and go that extra step. So I'm going to go ahead and add these with some foam tape, and I'm going to line it up with the pencil marks, erasing them as I go. Lastly, I'm adding a sentiment and a couple of embellishments, and the card is all finished. For my next card, we're going to be creating a background using some removable tape. So I've gone in and I have marked off a strip using the grid lines on my glass mat, and I'm going to go in with my different colors here, and I'm going to use my blending tool, and I'm going to remove it each time. To add a little extra special something, I'm going in this time with a dauber and my Versamark ink, so embossing ink, and this way I am able to go ahead and heat emboss a gold strip here. Just keep in mind that the stamp will resist this gold strip afterwards, but it adds a little bit of shine and sparkle. Just be careful that when you are going over the gold with a little paper towel to wipe off the stamped image, that you just dab it ever so slightly so you don't get the black ink everywhere, because it does resist against the gold cardstock. Now it looks like it was stamped behind that gold strip, and I think it looks really neat. For my next card, just cut out a whole bunch of Christmas trees in different colors cardstock. You could use traditional colors, or you could use something fun like the ones that I'm using. Nobody says that certain specific colors have to be Christmas. I mean, yeah, okay, green, blue, red, those are kind of the standard colors, but hey, why not add in some purple and pink? One of my favorite things to do when it comes to Christmas tree dies is to score down the center and then create a card that has a lot of 3D wow factor. So what I do is I score down the center of each Christmas tree as best as I can, and then I will go ahead and fold each one of these, gluing them on top of each other. But I don't glue the entire tree, I only glue the center and a little bit around the center just to make sure it sticks onto the cardstock. This type of card I prefer to give in person rather than mailing so it doesn't get super flat, but it is super, super fun. The only challenge can be, where do you end up putting the sentiment? And in that case, I generally don't add one. How fun is this pop-up goodness? For my next card here, I'm going to use the frame. So no waste here. I grabbed one of the frames from my Christmas tree, and I'm going to go ahead and grab a bunch of pattern paper that I have. I'm going to cut a whole bunch of strips. This is a great way to use up some of your leftover cardstock from paper packs, and I recommend using one paper pack because the paper packs tend to all coordinate with each other and all the colors work together. So you're not mixing and matching things that don't go together, and you're not having to put in a lot of thought into the process. I've added some glue around the Christmas tree, and I'm adding each one of the strips to the back of this card. This is going to make a really pretty card. If you wanted to spruce this card up even more, you could actually cut a second piece of cardstock and glue these strips on and turn this into a shaker card so that you could add some embellishments between the pattern paper and the front of the window of the Christmas tree, and you could add a little bit of shake to it as well. I don't know anybody that doesn't love a shaker card when they get one. For the next card, it really is a modern card, and I'm using the frame once again to help me line up all of my dies, and I'm going to be adding this Mary in a variety of colors. Now you have to make sure though when you're doing this, if you're using this to line it all up, that your top and bottom area is all the same height. My top height was a little bit more than the bottom, so I have a little bit of a gap there, but it was really perfect to add the Christmas die in, so no regrets. For the next card, I'm simply doing some stamping and creating myself a little collage, which is one of my favorite things to do on cards these days, whether it's with die cuts or stamps. So I stamped my poinsettia stamp here, and this is a really, really simple stamp to fussy cut because the lines are very, or the petals are really large and the lines are very uncomplicated. And I'm going to grab a whole bunch of the smaller stamps in the set and just stamp over top of this. That way, when I remove the mask from the flower, I'm going to have this really cool stamp that is this big collage that almost looks like it was all one stamp to begin with. I store all my fussy cutting on my stamp sheet there so that I don't have to ever fussy cut that again, or at least I'll get a ton of uses out of it. Now you can go ahead and color stamps like these in any medium that you prefer. You could use watercolors, colored pencils, markers, whatever the case is. But one of my favorite tips if you're using blends is to start at the beginning of the petal, the one closest to the center, and make that the darkest area, and then go lighter towards the end of the petal. Turn your cardstock as you color to make it easier on your hand, and add in any shadows where petals or leaves overlap. For my next card, I masked off another strip, this time a little bit larger than the last time I did this technique. And I'm using some blue colors here, a dark, a medium, and sort of a medium light color, just to make sure that this is really kind of like a winter night sky. I'm going to remove the mask now, and I'm going to stamp over top of it. This particular branch is very realistic looking, and I absolutely love the texture of this. You could use this for Halloween cards, I feel, as well as winter cards. I'm going to simply stamp the sentiment here up top, and then the card is finished. A very quick, easy, clean and simple card that you can create dozens of in no time. I hope there really is a nice variety of cards that you can create in bulk here, and cards that are more complex. For those of you that send a lot of cards, bulk cards might be the solution for your holiday cards. And for those of you that only make a select few, you may want to spend a little bit more time on each card. So I hope there's a nice variety for you here. I'm filling in each of the die cuts from this cover plate. The best part is with this cover plate is everything gets cut out at once. So I cut the cover plate out in blue, in gold, in red, and I had all these embellishments to add to my card. Now when it comes to hot foiling, it's one of my favorite techniques, although I do know that not everyone has this. So feel free to use a background stamp if you don't have a hot foil machine, and you can do similar techniques to this one. You could add them very simply to the front of your card by cutting down the cardstock to make a larger white border. For me personally, having this as a full card is not my absolute favorite look. I just find it really dark and really busy. However, when I decide to color these with colored pencils on dark cardstock, that is a whole other story. I think it looks super elegant and beautiful. Feel free to cut down your backgrounds in any way, shape, or form to create a little bit more white space, because this helps keep the colors really vibrant and beautiful. So you can see here, I've cut off a diagonal area and created this card for a really unique sort of shaped card. Another really easy way to break up your background a little bit is to just grab a simple nesting die in any shape, add the frames to it, and then pop it up with some foam tape. So essentially you're using the same background, you're just creating a little texture. So I hope you enjoyed all of these ideas for your holiday cards. I know they went quickly, but as I said, I will have slower tutorials popping up on my channel throughout the next couple of months as we get closer and closer to Christmas, but with plenty of time to be able to still create your cards. I hope you can see what the Enchanted Evergreen collection can do when it comes to creating your holiday cards, how quick and easy it can be to create cards, and how you can take the supplies and do more complex techniques that are more time consuming for those that like to be a little bit more creative and spend more time on their handmade creations. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you again for another video.